YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we got a video here by Gigguk, Best of Anime 2024. So as we guys know, last year was a really good year of anime. So let's see what Gigguk has. I know he's one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to this anime sphere. He's one of those which actually made me fall in love again with anime and put me on to new animes that I didn't know. So let's just see what he has. What was his best anime for 2024? And of course, I'll be giving my top 5 anime for last year. And of course, guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. And of course, let's just jump into the video. Let's go.
2024 has come and seemingly gone as soon as it began. It was certainly a busy year for global events, and I wouldn't blame you for just wanting to shut off the world and put on some anime. And thankfully, this year, anime came to play. Anime just keeps continuing to soar in popularity for the better and for the worse.
I mean, if that's an understatement. Recently, last week, we recognized the anime website called H Anime surpassed Disney. And it was just, H Anime is just only about anime, whereas Disney does a variety of shows. So you can imagine anime is now the new mainstream, honestly.
I'm getting used to how much of a global phenomenon it's become. School friends who never had any interest in animation will hit me up telling me they saw Dandadan. People who had never heard of a Crunchyroll will casually talk about discovering this random Japanese show on Netflix. My parents watched anime this year. The idea of being a pure anime fan feels like it's slowly getting phased out as anime just becomes another part of pop culture. But for those of us who still wear that mantle, what else was happening this year? For about 2 weeks, our community became obsessed with Deers, with the release of a song you'd last about 10 seconds in before realizing,
ladies and gentlemen, I think my brain just committed suicide.
After years of waiting.
That showed my dear anime, that one was only hyped for 2 weeks and then it fell off.
It looked like we were finally getting the first great Junji Ito adaptation. Uzumaki came out and smashed the curse by giving us an anime that did justice.
Uzumaki honestly had the best first episode. But man, was the series trash. You know, it was abysmal. Because how can you have a first good episode and then the rest of your other 3 episodes, because it was only a 4-part series, are just terrible. Rushed production. We don't know what's happening in Adult Swim. Adult Swim and anime? Hell no. I don't want anything to do with any Adult Swim anime. I'm only gonna watch it for the abysmal animation. Literally.
To its horrifying art. It was disturbing. It was unnerving. This is it. The run that's going to change everything. We're gonna do it! And there comes episode 2. Free reign became a cultural phenomenon, popularizing the phrase, "That's what Himmel the hero would have done." Inspiring people so much that someone quoted him after stopping a real knife attack, in a rare case of a free run.
That is so what? But yeah, free run was top tier anime. Everybody should jump on it.
Fan doing something outside of posting Yubel's armpits. Demon Slayer laid the groundwork for its final arc by having his big bad Muzan take 5 business days to walk to his destination. Fans seem to be split on whether this season—
No, this was a terrible season for Demon Slayer. 7 episodes of nothing. You know, only 1 good episode. Then they should have just made a movie, honestly.
Was pure badassery or just over the top silly. I'm just saying, if they really wanted their villain to have unmatched aura, they should have just fully committed to the Bollywood way of introducing their characters. It felt like a truck full of massive manga came to the end of their serialization, which included 2 mega hits in My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen. I didn't read them, but I can say from experience that historically speaking, when a long-running massive Shonen Jump manga ends, it's almost always met with unanimous praise and support, and this was no different.
I think my brain just committed suicide.
Isekai became an official—
Yeah, no, those big mangas ending, it was time, you know. It can't be there forever. You know, it has to come to an end, honestly.
Official word in the Oxford English Dictionary, giving legitimacy to all the isekai trashmen out there. Following the news, the search was officially started to find exactly who Truck-kun's British cousin would be. Here he is now. And last, but certainly not least, we lost a legend this year in Akira Toriyama. I tried writing a longer segment.
The person which wrote Dragon Ball Z, R.I.P. man, he really changed the whole industry. Dragon Ball Z changed the whole anime industry, whether we like it or not. It was Dragon Ball Z that is the most biggest, and then I'll maybe give it to Naruto, but Dragon Ball Z is definitely number one.
But nothing I wrote felt like it did justice to this man's legacy, so I'm gonna keep it short. He may not have been the mangaka that influenced me the most, but he is the mangaka that influenced the most people around the world.
True.
He inspired a generation of people, and his work will continue to inspire for many generations to come. And for that, what more can you say but thank you?
I think Dragon Ball Z, of course, was one of the first animes that actually got me into anime. It was that, and what made me fall in love with anime was Naruto. So yeah, you're gonna kind of have to give him an honorable mention, you know?
This was a weird year to try and distill down when picking my best anime. To avoid any confusions, these videos aren't just meant to be a definitive shortlist of my favorites, but it's my favorites that I want to passionately share and talk about with you guys, and normally that's the vast majority. But it turns out that a lot of my favorite shows this year I don't have more than like 2 sentences to say, mainly because many of them have very recently been on previous year's list and they just continued doing what they were doing so well. So for the first time it felt right just to do some quick honorable mentions for the shows that helped define my year, even if I don't have much new to say. But before we get to that, I want to have a quick word about today's sponsor, Honkai Star Rail.
Okay, sponsors we skip.
So, what are you waiting for? Click that. Even more than the first season. Some of the honorable mentions. I actually really enjoyed this season of Oshinoko, maybe even more than the first season. This year, we shifted gears to spotlight the Japanese theatre, resulting in some of the best episodes we've seen in the entire series, with some insane direction at times that truly made you feel like you were living an authentic theatre experience.
And I'm not gonna lie, I never watched season 2. Oh my gosh. I watched season 1. Season 1 was amazing of Oshinoko. But season 2, I kind of skipped my star. Oh my gosh, I need to watch it.
I'm kind of starting to think that this show is at its best when Aqua isn't the main focus and when it can highlight other people's emotional journey through the world of entertainment. There was some fantastic character writing here, and now that the manga has come to an end, I'm sure we all have a lot to look forward to in future seasons.
I think my brain just committed.
Mushoku Tensei diabolically dropped one of its best ever episodes on Father's Day, then preceded it in the most Mushoku Tensei style possible, leaving me with some mixed feelings. Not so much with the developments, but more in the manner in which it was executed.
Yeah, Mushoku Tensei season, I think is season 2 or part 2 or whatever, this new season of Mushoku Tensei is honestly goated. This is what we talk about anime. This is the best isekai, Mushoku Tensei. Everything, it has everything, all emotions, different type of variety. And wow, this was the episode that came out on Father's Day. Wow. If you've been watching the whole Mushoku Tensei anime, it was heartfelt, honestly.
For a series that historically has had no problem spending as much time as it needs exploring the complexities of human emotions, this one felt a bit out of sync. I still enjoyed it, but for the first time it left a bitter aftertaste in my mouth. And I'm not talking about whatever Roxy's been drinking. It was a delight to see the wacky chemistry between the Konosuba cast has not gotten boring at all.
Konosuba was the best. Honestly, Konosuba was, honestly, last season was good. It wasn't the most amazing because I feel like, Konosuba cannot go back to what it was in season 1. It's a good starter for how it was, a good comedy anime,
Demon Slayer was a 10 out of 10. For one episode. Before that, it was the weakest season so far, shown by the fact that IGN gave it a 3 out of 10 and didn't set the internet on fire. Even I think that's a little low, because surely this moment alone should bring it up a bit. Then there were the two juggernauts of last year, Apothecary Diaries and Frieren, continuing their amazing run from 2023 to 2024.
Apothecary Diaries is one of those where if you know it's good. It's not really that mainstream. Frieren is mainstream. Frieren, everybody couldn't stop talking about it. You see it all over the internet. Apothecary Diaries is if you know type of anime, but it's very good. I'm currently watching it. I'm on season 2 already. So yeah, even Frieren, oh, diabolical. It was amazing. It broke my anime list, records. Honestly, top tier animes.
I introduced my mum to Apothecary Diaries this year, thinking it'll occupy her for a good week. And I thought I liked watching anime until I walked in one day later and she looks me in the eyes and goes, "It's done." That was too short. It was at this point I realized no matter how powerful I think I am, I could never hope to match the power level of Asian mums watching their soap operas. And while I preferred the first half of Freerun that aired last year, it still continued to be a stellar show, tournament arc and all. I know everyone's thirsting over this green-haired girl, but I gotta say, the old man won my heart. A mage of principle and respect, reminding us that you may be out of mana, but you ain't out of hands. Showing the young'uns how to truly pound people up. No diddy. Make no mistake, if this was a simple one-sentence list, both of these shows would have easily ended up in my top 5. And on the other end of the spectrum, there were other returning shows like...
Nah, I gotta give it to them. That's top 5 top tier anime. Frieren and Apothecary Diaries, top tier.
My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia was once the golden child of shows.
My Hero Academia season 7, oh my god. If you're a My Hero Academia fan, jeez Louise. This is a treat. This is honestly like a celebration of anime. If you hate on that, then hate on it. I just loved this show.
Carrying on the torch to a new generation of anime fans to a post-Big 3 era. People loved it. People couldn't stop talking about it. Then one day, it felt like everyone woke up and just went, yo, this shit boring. My Hero became the punching bag of jokes, while other titles rose up and grabbed the spotlight. And as time went on, it felt like those jokes turned into complaints, and then eventually those complaints turned into indifference. And while it felt like many people had given up on it, I quietly continued watching in hopes that one day it would remind me of why I loved the series in the first place. And this year, I remembered what it felt like to go plus fucking ultra. Feels like in the modern age of action shows.
Yeah, I gotta give it to them. My Hero Academia was just incredible. Jeez Louise. My dude, if you left My Hero Academia at season 5, you're doing yourself a disservice. You gotta watch it. Like season 6, season 7 is what I wish so many animes could do. Make it hype, make the story have so much value, and that's what My Hero Academia did.
A lot of us have forgotten the beating heart of what My Hero Academia truly excelled at. Its amazing attention to detail in its character writing and development. This is what has shined in these latest seasons, and on that playing field, only a few of its competitors can compete. However, if you come into this as another battle shonen anime, you can definitely feel it being left behind when compared to the plethora of modern action spectacles its contemporaries have been showing us. Take this fight. We have Fireman versus Ice Boy and friends. It's a 1 versus many brawl. Fireman blasts them with a super hot fire, immediately rendering the team useless, and punches Ice Boy, but Ice Boy has a technique that neutralizes his fire, because, you know, he's actually half fire, half ice, and then punches Fireman, but then Fireman brings out fire that's even hotter than his previous fire, so Ice Boy brings out his ultimate technique, an even colder super duper ice punch. It was at this point I realized I'm not watching an active brawl. I'm watching a turn-based battle on autoplay. I know this sounds like complaints, but this is all to say that if you are able to get past all that, when you can focus on its strengths, when you see all these character storylines collide...
No, dude. Whoever hates on My Hero Academia, come on, dude. You, like... What gets better than this? This is honestly top tier. This was top tier anime. Like literally I was in a dark place in my life and I rewatched the whole of My Hero Academia. And wow, it was just incredible. This is one of those shows when you rewatch it, you're just gonna fall in love again, honestly.
It is able to go places few other shonen action shows are able to, and this season was a non-stop barrage of that. Endeavor facing the mistakes of his parenting, Todoroki coming to terms with his family trauma, Bakugo turned into a sympathetic boy, Ochiko proves she's more than just a good girl, Himiko proving she's more than just a crazy girl, Deku, stop listening to My Chemical Romance, All Might, Hawks, Dabi, Ida. There may be hype seeing Gentle again. Gentle!
Yeah,
fucking
Gentle
what?
Hero.
This almost didn't feel like an action show.
Awesome.
This felt like an epic soap opera where coincidentally people solve their conflicts by punching each other. It may not be doing what shonen action does best, but it is doing what My Hero Academia does best. Now approaching the finish line to its legacy, it felt like My Hero has stood up for one last hurrah as it looked me dead in the eye and said, "Don't worry, kid."
Yeah. Nah, My Hero Academia is hype. I gotta give it to him. Like, it is super hype. It is top tier hype, top tier animation, top tier, dude. You just can't hate on it. It is one of those shows where you're just gonna fall in love again. It is incredible, incredible. What is this?
Sometimes you come across a show that gives absolutely zero fucks and condenses its entire being into achieving one objective: having fun. That is Brave Bang Bravern. This is what happens.
Never heard of this anime before.
When you take the over-the-top ridiculous hype of Gurren Lagann, add a bit of tokusatsu, and crash land it into the manly bravado world of Top Gun. Then make it about as straight as it too. It is a non-stop, glorious celebration of the best parts you can find in the mecha genre, then throws logic out the window and amps everything up to 11. Cheesy speeches, fusion scenes, old school theme songs that will grow your beard 5 inches. It takes all of them, then proudly throws them in your face. Oh, what was that? Yes, because you know what? Subtext is for cowards. It doesn't care if you get it or not because it's here to do its own thing. If you ask, why does a mecha have a function where it plays its theme song and projects its own background screen? Why is the US military trying to waterboard a giant robot? Why does the protagonist have karaoke subtitles so he can nail the speech during heroic moments? It'll look at you dead in the eye and say, fuck you, because this is Bravern.
What?
What does that spell? It's a treat when you watch a show where you can tell.
Well, yeah, I don't think this is a show for me. Yeah, no, this one I never watched it. First time hearing about it. Not many people speak about it, so I don't think I'll watch this. I like mechas, of course, you know, Evangelion, Neon Genesis. Yeah, this one not for me.
Every single person working on it was having a blast, and you get infected with that same joy. This is the shitpost of mecha, the YouTube poop of super robots. Forget a no bullshit show, this is an all bullshit show and is damn proud of it. It's a show that fully commits to hitting every single emotional beat it needs to, then takes one step back and laughs at itself.
Come on, wake up! おお、こんな時だったのにお盛んだね。
バカね、私たちもでしょ。
If you're still unsure about the appeal of mecha, if you're unsure of what makes super robots great, give this one a watch. This isn't just a love letter to the mecha genre, this will make you fall in love with mecha. You know, figuratively speaking.
Okay.
No. No. Just hear me out. No.
Jeez Louise.
Like many other people, watching anime can be my escape from reality, a place where you can enter a whole new world with stories that have absolutely no relation to the life you're living right now. So, what could be further from reality than a sci-fi show about alien invaders and the end of the world itself? It's the dreary...
Oh, I've heard about this one. This one is a pretty cool show, a post-apocalyptic world, but they're now focusing on what the people are going through.
Apocalypse of all time, where the world is going through an unprecedented global event. Misinformation, conspiracy theory.
But this one also never blew up. Like the previous show, his number 10 and number 9, these shows never really blew up that much.
And finger pointing have spread like wildfire on social media. Friendships are lost and where people stand with the issue of these aliens. Protests begin. Public trust is at an all-time low. The only thing that everyone can agree on is that nobody can agree on what to do next. Politicians prioritize the economy over anything else. More and more it feels like there isn't a single competent person left in a position of power, and in between all that, the series asks, what does it feel like to be a teenager? Trying your best to grasp a sense of normalcy after living through major historical event after major historical event. This was the realist anime of 2024. Dead demons. Destructions takes a different approach to the first contact story. This isn't about
The name is so unique. That's what I love about anime. Having shows with such a unique name. Pretty cool.
Invasion. This isn't about communication. This is about people feeling absolutely lost, trying to cope with a world that seems to be crumbling around them. It's a cynical, biting look at life that sometimes felt a little bit too uncomfortably reminiscent to reality, showing us that even during an apocalypse, life has to and will go on. But there is hope, because even during a chaotic time with aliens, spaceships and sci-fi laser weapons, only then can the true heroes of society emerge.
お前もそろそろしっかりしてほしいよ。SNS にはびこる私意識高いですアピールを
Dude, the character design, holy smokes.
繰り返す勘違い野郎を探し出し、心霊写真をポストし続けなきゃならないのだからな。
Ah, he's finally here. Biblically accurate Twitter blue checkmark user.
Whatever the show is called. maybe I'll give it a watch. This is one of those shows where I am actually super interested in, because also Mother's Basement, like, he couldn't stop singing its praises. So I'll check it out. I'll check it out definitely. I'm gonna give it maybe like 3 to 2 episodes. I'll give that one a watch. Oh my gosh, ReZero. Yeah, ReZero's back to form. Oh my gosh, ReZero. If you're a ReZero fan, yeah, this is like, dude, everything here in this season is just like, it's mind blowing. Great action. The first episode, that's how you do a first episode. Make it an hour. Put in everything that we love about the show and get it over and done with, and let's get to the action. You know, that's what I loved about the first episode. Everything about ReZero is just it's a really good show.
Last season of ReZero came out, I looked like this. When the first season of ReZero came out, I looked like this. When ReZero is being written, I looked like this. It's insane to think that this show first blasting onto the scene, taking over the anime community, was over 8 years ago. ReZero fans have been surviving eating at scraps, but this year we got the start of an all-you-can-eat buffet with its return. They brought everyone back for this one. Amelia, Krush, Felt, Anastasia, Priscilla, Subaru's newly acquired sassy Pokemon, Reinhardt, Julius, them, Let Me Solo Her, even Rem fans were eating this season. If you were one of the people that thought Season 2 was a little slow in plot progression, Season 3 went, don't worry, I hear you, and started off by dropping a nuke on itself. This was a no-bullshit, non-stop barrage of chaos. When you thought the situation couldn't get any worse, it does. Just when Subaru learned...
And that's what I love about it, the pacing. I feel like a lot of animes, if there's just too much story, I wish Michuka Tensei did this as well. Have an episode of 1 hour. Just get all of the story, establish everything. If you need an episode where you just need an hour just to tell your whole freaking story, do it. You know, let's get it all and done with this one episode, which is 1 hour, and let's move on. And then soon you can start chopping it up. Because man, like, a lot of animes have so much story, so much context, so much lore. And this was one of the shows which I feel like it executed it so beautifully.
To value his own life and make an oath not to rely on the return by death mechanic, this pushed that commitment to the absolute limit. One thing goes wrong, then two. Before he can even put out one fire, 10 more pop up. There reaches several parts where you think this is the point of no return, only for the series to hold and keep holding. Then it holds for another whole episode until you want to scream, please Subaru, there is no dishonor in typing FF15. This show has never been shy of introducing wacky, eccentric villains, and yet even this season had me going, good lord ReZero, as I jizz and breathe. Forget introducing one villain at a time, let's introduce them all from the entire spectrum of crazy and deranged to others so despicable, I genuinely hope every time he pees it goes off in 2 streams and they both miss the toilet. They were introducing so many surprise villains, I was expecting one of the episodes to end like,
I was completely wrong, wasn't I? I had the dates wrong all this time. Did he come on out?
This was the action
That is too funny. What is Gigguk doing?
packed season many of us asked for, and the real difference is just seeing how much Subaru is stepping up to the plate. It's been an absolute pleasure to see how much this is not the same Subaru we all recognized from the beginning, and now the dominoes are set up for him to knock them down in the most emphatic way possible in this arc's conclusion in 2025, and you bet your ass I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, season 2 sucked. Season 3, a masterpiece. Season 3, wow, it was just a jump up and down, craziness. Like, wow, it was masterful. That's one thing which I gotta give ReZero for the execution of season 3. I'd never seen anything like this, you know. It is just incredible. What is number 7?
In the world of anime, there's no
Yeah, Mecha Mean Too Many Losing Heroines. I think this is one of the best romance anime that's out there. I mean, having the perspective of we have now entered the climax of each and every single romance story of them confessing on how they feel about the significant other or the person that they have a crush on. And now we get to that climax, but the person which they confess they crush on doesn't feel the same way. And now we're having a perspective of the background character, the man that is overseeing the whole situation. And now that's the reason why it's called Too Many Losing Heroines. It's a group of girls that all confessed how they feel, but they didn't achieve the relationship. So now we have a group of seeing how they now develop each other's relationship. How do we have the postpartum of breakup, of not being in a relationship, you know? It's honestly a really good show. Really, really, really great romance on anime. Top tier. I love everything about it. This is a must watch for if you're a romance slice of life fan. It is beautiful with the animation too.
Place more brutal, more cutthroat, more bloody than the romance genre. Girls duke it out in the battlefield of the protagonist's heart. Tears are shed, hearts are broken, blood, protein is spilled. But as we all know, there can only be 1, 2, 100. 0 winners, while the losers are there just left to rot. But this year, too many losing heroines saw all that and went, you know, just because a girl lost doesn't mean she wasn't best girl in the show. And anime girls with short blue hair deserve to be the main heroine for once. And cute tomboys and awkwardly shy chicks deserve their time in the spotlight too.
True.
And I want a little sister who's way too overprotective and calls me Oni-chan because I love my little sisters.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It kind of got overdid it with the whole sister trope. Yeah, as all animes do with the sister trope.
Too many losing heroines was the answer to all of that. It looked at romance anime and said, I'm tired of this single elimination bullshit. Where the hell is my losers bracket? And losers is all we see. 1, 2, 3 girls, all rejected by the man they love, coming together to form enough copium to rival the average Man United fan. We've seen romance anime where a girl loses, accepts her defeat, and that's the end of it. But this asked, what kind of reaction do we get after that point? Yahoo! This was the greatest hits montage of the saddest and funniest coping mechanisms people can find themselves when they're just in their lowest points. It's messy, it's emotional, it's sometimes just hilariously pathetic, and in between all of them is the victim of their non-consensual trauma dump. When I first saw this setup, I thought I had the show all figured out. Oh, here we go again. A laid-back, reserved guy paired with some...
No, you are not ready, dude. I also thought I had this show figured out till I realized, man, wow, the story that it has, it's top tier. This is, dude, the writing, the pacing, all the characters that lost the whole relationship, they couldn't get into the relationship, they just totally like shined. They shined. That's what I liked about it. Even the main character, I felt like the main character was going to be bland, but overall he became better and better as the show progressed.
Loud, energetic, Genki anime girl. Wow, that's a trope I've never seen before. But as you watch, it doesn't play out how you think. The trigger never gets pulled, the patented anime blush scene never happens, and all we're left with is a guy forming a real friendship by just letting these girls feel like they don't have to deal with all of this alone. Too Many Losing Heroines was a different kind of rom-com in a highly competitive year full of them. There's a genuine sense of community with the cast as you're able to laugh with them at their highest points and really feel for them at their lowest. It's a show that knows when to laugh at itself and when to take itself 100% seriously, selling you on all these emotions: anger, emptiness, denial, that knee-jerk conclusion that you just lack any self-worth, all in its 12-episode run.
And I couldn't have not said that any better. Gigguk explained it 100%. That's how this show makes you feel, bro. Like the way, I feel like a lot of romance animes, they play on a trope a bit too much. Like for example, Aliyah hides her feelings in Russian. That was kind of an empty show. Or Days with My Stepsister, also very empty, whereas this had it all. That's the one thing, drama, intent, you know, the intention of how do we feel when we're in a relationship. This show was a feel-good anime. I kind of stopped watching it, I think, till episode 11, but I finished it off, and I was so glad I finished it off, you know. Best show ever. Heroines
was a different kind of rom-com in a highly competitive year full of them, and I say this as someone who's just not as interested in high school romance shows anymore. As a 34-year-old married man, there is just far less for me to relate to nowadays. Even if a show is decent, any school romance is going to have a hard time getting on my list. It can't just be good. It can't just be great. It's gotta be bloody fantastic.
That's true. Yo, even Dangers in My Heart is number 6. Dude, everybody keeps on screaming about this show. I never watched season 2. So, unfortunately, I really want to watch it. I loved season 1. I loved season 1 of Dangers in My Heart. But it was kind of hard for me to get into season 2. I don't know what happened. So, since this is number 6, I'm going to skip it because this is a show if you know me, I'm a romance, slice of life fan. That's my whole thing. I love romance. I love slice of life. So I'm gonna skip this. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Danger's in my heart. I'll see what's gonna happen, you know, later. Let's go. Girl bands cry. Whoa, I've never heard of this one.
Girls Band Cry has girls in a band.
Oh no, don't tell me it's 3D.
Anime is not new to the girl rock band concept.
Yeah.
It all started in 2009 with girls band Chai. 2 years ago saw the uprising of the highly beloved girls band Chai, even tangentially in shows like Angel Beats that gave us girls band Die. We know what dynamic to expect.
That is
Cute
so
girls
funny.
doing cute things, chasing their dreams, trying hard while having a jolly good time making new friends, and look how adorable they are when they interact with each other. And then there's girls band Cry.
Oh my god. Yo!
These aren't your pristine, perfect idol girls. They argue, talk shit to each other, throw tantrums. Our main girl Nina has a public outburst, gets told to be quiet, and calmly responds by throwing a fucking lamp at him. Nina is your average New Yorker, but it's this brutal honesty with each other that makes...
I don't know how to feel about this one. You know, one thing I kind of have the biggest criticism of is 3D in anime. I know we have Beastars, we have Dororo, and I forgot the other one. There's another one where the whole girl, it's like a girl group, they're diamonds, they live in another world. So yeah, I don't know, dude. Like the whole 3D aspect is a different vibe for me. I know I love Dororo, even though, oh no, Dorohedoro, it's my bad. I'm busy calling it Dororo. Dorohedoro on Netflix, that is an amazing show. So in this one, I don't know, dude. 3D anime kind of turns me off, but yeah. I don't know. I don't like girls rock bands, you know, like Bocce Rock and all of those things. Like, yeah, not my thing. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. I probably need to see more. I would give it a try. I don't know.
this show feels so real, their friendship seems so genuine. The drama is not some cutesy nothing burger, every person is carrying some trauma, a character flaw they live with. These girls act like girls, they can come off as childish, they can make naive decisions on their journey, and they, get this, do not get rewarded for it. This is no fairy tale, no idealistic story about chasing your dreams. This is a down-to-earth look at the harsh reality of staying true to yourself no matter what the world is telling you. But even so, they refuse to betray their character. These girls embody the true spirit of rock, both its ups and its downs, and it's through watching their struggles do you get some of the finest drama you can find all year. But ew, isn't this CG? Alright. Get the fuck over here. I've had enough of your shit. I get that anime fans have a Pavlovian response anytime they see CG, but this is some of the best
Yeah, okay, yeah. I had the response of CG. You heard me. I went on a rant of CG. I guess no, it's because of Berserk. I've been disappointed. Besides even Berserk, there's a lot of shows, man, where I only know 3 shows that when it comes to CG, 3D, oh my god. They kill it. You know, also Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, they have CG elements. They kind of adapt it sometimes. Sometimes when they do it, I'm like, oh my god, this is the future. And sometimes when other shows does it, I'm like, oh my god, this is why I hate it. You know, so yeah, it's up and down relationship.
I've seen outside of Studio Orange. There's not a single moment where something interesting isn't happening in frame. Every movement adds so much character, micro expressions that perfectly emphasize emotions, and concert scenes that bring the fucking hype to the fantastic music. Speaking of which, ooh, the piano. That piano. Girls Band Cry takes it back to basics. Great writing, great characters, great banter, and devious piano keys that bring joy upon my ears.
Jeez Louise, I would give that one a try. This sounds pretty cool. Orb.
In this day and age, we've seen it all.
Yeah, Orb is... This one is low-key, it's out there. A lot of people do speak about Orb. It's not like a if you know, you know, like the other ones, man. Some of the shows, I own 3 shows. I never heard nothing about it, you know? And I'm like, dude, Orb is out there, for real, for real.
Thrillers, gangster stories, pirates, ninjas, knights. It's so rare to see a concept that hasn't been done before. A story yet to be told. And Orb on the Movements of the Earth was all of that, and so much more. In a time when faith was the dominating school of thought, when studying science was the Asian parent equivalent of finding out your kid wants to go to art school, what if you had to prove to everyone that the Earth isn't the center of everything, but we're actually a rock flying thousands of miles per hour through the vastness of space, held down by this invisible force you can't touch, see, or smell? Oh, you think you can do that? I bet you still secretly give Pluto the planet pass when no one's around, you lying prick. Orb isn't just the story of heliocentrism, it's a captivating tale showing how one simple idea can change the course of so many lives. An idea that just won't die no matter how many times you try to extinguish it. It passes from person to person, generation to generation. This story is a testament to the lengths people will go in the pursuit of truth, in the face of
Orb is on Netflix, so this one, there's no excuses. We gotta watch this one. Like, to everybody that loves anime, this is one of those shows that, you know, having a unique concept in anime, we need to support it and actually give it a review and actually have a different perspective on it, because I like the whole premise. It sounds very, very interesting.
In the face of unimaginable pain, nothing can cage humanity's desire to look at the universe and go,
I understand it now.
If Dr. Stone made scientists look cool, this is a full-on celebration of the scientific method. Because when the universe looks down at us and says, I will never reveal my secrets to you, humanity looks up and replies, fuck you, we're gonna try anyway. This is both the brutal reality and true beauty that comes in that pursuit of knowledge. How many people laid the groundwork of research and died just before a massive breakthrough? Are the real heroes of science the ones who come up with the correct ideas, or the ones who suffer the heartbreak of realizing they've dedicated their life work researching down the wrong path and yet still accept it, knowing that the next person will now know what not to do? It's the legacy of all these unsung heroes of science that Orb wants you to think about. This isn't about a life, but the lives of the people that give us the understanding of the world we have today. It never stops reminding us that through every great individual, every achievement, every giant leap humanity takes stands on the back of the work of the people that came before them. No matter what kind of old-fashioned archaic thinking that existed back then that could halt the progress of humanity.
That sounds pretty cool. I love that. That sounds like something I really should be watching. For real.
Wait, hold on a second, this guy might be onto something.
What is number 3? Delicious in Dungeon. This one is on everybody's top list. I would put this maybe like on my top 10, but not my top 5. It was a good watch. I really enjoyed it. It went back to basics. A Netflix anime, of course. You can watch this on Netflix. Really cool anime. Really cool anime. I watched it because I didn't have anything to watch and people were screaming about this. Excuse me. So I watched it, you know. It was cool. I liked it. I really liked it. I didn't watch the last episode. I don't know. I don't know. With me and anime, sometimes I'll watch the whole season, but the last episode, I just left it. Like, I watched bits and pieces maybe till halfway, but I think by then I was kind of burnt out. Yeah, it was a cool show. It was a cool show. I gotta give it that.
It really felt like anime rediscovered its love for pure fantasy shows this year, with Freeren leading the charge with a tale that spoke straight to our souls. We laughed, we cried, and the community replied, damn, that's deep.
True.
While all this was going on, another show was cooking with a different approach. It had elves, it had dragons, it had dungeons, but looked at all these monsters and went,
Feast mode activated. Hashtag hungry. Feed me more.com.
Dungeon Meshi satiated all our appetites by giving us a different kind of fantasy show. And when I saw this,
I think that whole concept of them eating the monsters and all of that made it like very interesting. Like, how can we eat this monster? And just seeing the different variety of things and all of that, like that's what made me not stop watching the show. And the sister, the whole premise of the guy with the knight with the blonde hair, he's like, yo, I want to go and look for my sister. And when we finally see the sister, yo, this is what made me like so stuck to the show. That's why I feel like this show would be on everybody's top 10. But for me, like, this is top 10 easily, you know?
Wow. Finally.
Not top 5.
an anime where people just want to eat monsters and not want to fuck them. It presents itself as a low-stakes, comfy cooking show, then hits you with an attention to detail in its world building that most fantasy anime could only dream of. From the biology to the concepts, it takes these well-known creatures and reimagines them in a way to give them a sense of credibility that makes you forget that you're watching a fictional story and not some nature documentary. It'll introduce you to these treasure bugs, insects shaped like coins and jewelry that target unsuspecting prey, and you're like, ah, okay, that's kind of like real-life bugs that can perfectly camouflage themselves in nature. 2 episodes later, we see our first mimic, and if you're familiar with fantasy, mimics are some of the most well-known
mimics are so... I love the whole mimic concept, you know. This is so original.
monsters responsible for many of your in-game deaths, I'm sure. But here, Dungeon Meshi gives them that believability by imagining them as some giant hermit crabs that gravitate towards chests as their home. Makes sense. But then, seemingly on a totally unrelated note, a treasure bug is found near it. Then one of the characters casually mentions, oh yeah, that's because the treasure bugs lay their eggs on the mimics so the larvae feed on them and they mature in there. And then it clicks. Oh, that's why these treasure bugs conveniently find their way into chests, perfectly placed for some unsuspecting adventurers to find. And this was the exact point. My mind fully comprehended the exact scope of this world building. These aren't just random monsters scattered around. This is an ecosystem where every single thing is interconnected. There is no part that exists solely in a bubble. Every piece of this world has been carefully crafted and interwoven with a level of care that's rare to see anywhere. And
that's so true. Like the whole design, the character designs, every single person's, like, every single monster has a purpose. Every single thing that is here is purposeful. I love it so much. That's what makes me like the show a lot. That's why I didn't stop watching it till the last episode.
telling me this level of craftsmanship is being used in a make-believe comfy cooking show? This is the moment when you fall into its trap. Oh!
Yo, this episode was just messed up. This episode of when we first finally get revealed to the sister, like, yo, that was just a messed up episode. Dude, well, I don't like it, but man, this is honestly awesome. Dude, it's just crazy.
God fucking damn it. When Dungeon Meshi shows its true hand, you realize the food was simply a vehicle to prep you for what the dungeon really is. This is a brutal environment we are nowhere near close to understanding or taming. This is not your comfy fantasy world. This is a Maiden Abyss style Lovecraftian nightmare. A world that runs on its own set of rules beyond human comprehension that we have only just taken a single step into. Yet even through this turn, the series never loses its heart. The lovable leads always remain true to themselves. Marcial is still playing Elden Ring. Senshi is playing Cooking Mama. Chuck's playing Slay the Spire. Izutsumi just brought Stray. Everyone else is trapped in Darkest Dungeon. Meanwhile, Laios is in the corner going,
Feed me more.com.
Dungeon Meshi invites you to have a taster of this living, breathing world, and you forget for a moment that none of it's actually real. It'll lull you into its cozy vibe and smack you round the head when you get too comfortable, and by the end of it, sits you down to enjoy another delectable meal while you reflect on the journey. In summary,
Crazy.
Got soup.
Yeah, that's Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, now Dungeon Meshi, honestly, really good story writing, captivating characters. The chemistry that the characters have is incredible. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen at the end. This one, definitely, they need to cook it just a little bit more, and then it would be, honestly, the best anime ever. Dandadan, yeah, it deserves it. If this wasn't gonna be my number one, it would definitely be number 2. Dandadan is top tier. Like, when we talk about animes of the year, Dandadan, jeez Louise, guys. If you're not watching Dandadan, dude, what are you doing here? Go freaking watch Dandadan. It's on Netflix.
maybe you've been watching anime for 1 year, maybe you've been watching it for 5 years, maybe even 10, but I'm sure you remember that feeling of watching those first 10 shows. That excitement of discovering this whole new medium where everything felt fresh. It was a place that operated on its own set of rules, not bound by the ideas you were used to. There was a weirdness to it you couldn't find anywhere else, and every new episode you watched, something unpredictable lay just around the corner. I've been watching anime for 20 years, and Dandadan took me back to those times. Shonen Jump is a place where its formula for success has been repeated over generations, so when a new title gets adapted, we normally know what the rules are, and Dandadan starts by taking that rulebook and setting it on fire. At first you think, okay, it's another battle shonen, then you realize, hold on, it's actually a rom-com. No, sci-fi. Wait, it's a supernatural. Maybe actually it's even a horror. You go through this entire notion before it even occurs to you that 90% of this show revolves around some dude getting his balls back. This is what happens when you throw everything against the wall and say, fuck it, we ball. You could be the strongest observation haki user and still be unable to predict what happens next. When you expect it to go forwards, it goes sideways. When you say jump, it asks... It exudes this childish freedom of expression you forget how to do as an adult, and the most incredible thing is that somehow, some way, it is able to take all this chaos and keep everything cohesive. This is a show that can make you laugh, make you cry, make you hype, leave you in absolute awe in some of its most beautiful moments, all while staying true to its own special brand of weirdness. In the sanitized, safe, risk-free world of modern entertainment, watching this reminded me of the childish excitement I should feel when watching a new anime. And the only thing holding this from the top spot is that we've barely taken a step off the starting line.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, dude, this if it's not number one, it's easily number two. Like, dude, this is one of those shows that came out of nowhere and it hit so freaking hard. I love Dandadan. Dandadan is honestly, from the intro song to the characters, everything about Dandadan is just the characters. The chemistry that each and every single character has with each other is unmatched. It is just honestly a memento to what anime can be. A story about ghosts and aliens, you know, a romance. Dude, every single character that they add is just funny, crazy, quirky. You know, Turbo Granny, Ira, Gigi, the two main characters, you know, Okarun and Miss Momo, Miss Ayase. Dude, honestly, one of the greatest shows that I think I've watched for a long time.
You know, if I'm being super honest, I don't even like drawing manga. It's a pain in the butt.
Then why do you draw, Fujino?
If you would.
Look back. Dude, what? Okay, I thought for me it would have easily been Frieren, Dandadan, Mekamine, maybe Windbreaker, maybe Jujutsu, maybe Mushoku Tensei, but look back. What is this show now? What is this one?
For a second, indulge me on this anecdote I think about a lot. It's 3 AM in the year 1988. An audio engineer in Hawaii is picking up after a late night of work when his phone rings. On the other end was a local musician who asked if he could come in and record something. Of course, the engineer told him that he was closing and they could easily come in the next day, but the guy pleaded to let him record this idea he desperately wanted to see through. 15 minutes later, that person came in. He played one song, one take, and it was over. For years, that recording would lay dormant, only to actually be released 5 years later. That guy was Israel Kamakawiwo'ole, and that recording was his now world-famous rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. This story has always stuck with me. For anyone who's ever created something, sometimes you have that project, that idea that hits you when inspiration strikes and refuses to leave. You'll think about it when you're taking a shower, when you're having lunch, when you're working on anything else. Like a parasite, it festers in your mind waiting for you to materialize it. And you know you have to see it through. Not for money, not for clout, not for any sense of personal responsibility, but because you just need to. On every single level. That is the exact feeling I get when watching Look Back. A need to make, a need to create. Look Back was many things. It's a love letter to the creative process. It's an exploration to why people make art. It's a homage to some of the most tragic events that have happened in the industry, but more than that, there is this overwhelming sense of an author coming to terms with his own personal struggles, speaking directly through these characters that he's created. Coming from the mind that gave us Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man, this was a shockingly simple, soulful tale of two artists and their journey of creating for each other, creating for money, creating for pride, creating for themselves. This is a film that encapsulates the entire spectrum of emotions for anyone who's ever made anything in a way only someone who's felt the depths of those feelings could portray. That excitement of finishing your first work, the struggle of knowing you can do better, that deep insecurity that you're just inadequate, the euphoric explosion of having your work recognized, the emptiness you feel when you've forgotten why you started this journey in the first place, and that moment when you doubt it all and ask, was it all worth it? In 1 hour, this film packs more emotional depth than most anime can fit in an entire season through simple, beautiful storytelling. It felt like a story that was made simply because someone needed to put it all out there. It's jam-packed full of the rawest human emotions, like you're watching somebody scream from their soul. Lines that feel so intimate, you're unsure if you're watching two characters talk to each other or a person having a conversation with themselves. This is the kind of personal story that's so rare to experience, and when I see someone laying themselves bare, it's hard for me not to be deeply moved. I've experienced this story 3 times now, and every time has given me something different. I read the manga and cried at the pure beauty of the storytelling and emotions on display. I watched this in theaters and cried experiencing this story again so perfectly brought to life. I put this on when it got its home release and cried feeling such a profound connection to what the creators must have felt when making this, and after every single time, without fail, it gave me a reminder of why the hell I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'm sure some of you may think that putting a movie as my #1 anime this year feels like a cop-out, and yeah, it kind of is. I often try to make it a point to keep anime films and series separate. I've never put a movie in any of these rankings before, but no matter how much I reflected, no matter what other shows I put here, nothing else felt right. It had to be Look Back. Not because I wanted to give it exposure, not because of some review score, not because of any arbitrary qualifications. I put it here because simply, I just needed to.
Okay. I'm gonna watch that movie. Holy smokes. That was really, it gave me goosebumps. What the freak? That was cool. Never heard of the movie before. You know, anime, sometimes I get introduced to many new shows. I feel like I know it all, and then I'm always just like backtracked. You know, I've never heard of shows like this mecha anime. I've never heard of anybody speak about this mecha anime, dude. Like, Look Back. Who the hell speaks about Look Back? I've never heard anybody speak about that one. A few of the shows, yes, I've seen them. They've been everywhere. A lot of people have been speaking about them, but this is just really interesting. And I would love to see the #1. Okay, guys, of course, my top 5 anime of the year. I'm going to give it Dandadan, Frieren, Windbreaker. I know Windbreaker, a lot of people are going to scream at me. Machoko Tensei, and of course, Megumin Too Many Losing Heroines. My top 5 always changes. I don't know if you guys watch my whole videos. They change all the time. But yeah, you know, I feel like those are a lot of animes that I feel like this year really captured what it means to be an anime. Every time I'd watch those shows, I'd feel like a different emotion. Dandadan is one of those shows. It's a rare show which understands the formula. It knows what it's doing, it understands the formula, and it executes it in a way that we've never seen before. And that's one thing which I feel like a lot of animes need to do. We need to see things that have never been done before. But yeah, animes is animes, you know. You can't make it more extreme than what it is. But yeah, this was a great list. This was a great list of top 10 anime. Of course, it has different varieties, different type of shows, different type of perspectives. I've never seen... I'm introduced now to 3 new animes, and that's how I feel like how big the genre is. Imagine each and every single season we get 60 different types of anime per season, and we feel like, as much as I feel like, you know, the industry ain't growing, it is growing at a rapid pace with different type of shows. Man, one of these shows, I mean, coming from my whole childhood growing up around anime, it's different, man. I feel like for me, when I first started watching anime, of course it was Dragon Ball Z. Then I went to Naruto. Then I kind of watched Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach. And then I gave it a break. I don't know. I watched the big 3. I gave it a break. I didn't give it time. Up until I was in my mid-20s, you know, life was hitting me at the hardest. And then I started picking it up again. And I got that whole childhood feeling I had when I was a child. That's why I rewatched anime. I wanted to feel like I'm a youth again. You know, I want to feel like how I was in my youth. That's why I watch this type of that's why I do this type of content on my channel, because it makes me feel young again. I feel like I'm always 13, 14 when I first started watching Dragon Ball Z. When I first started watching Bleach, I get reminiscent of my childhood, and I get introduced to new shows. The way how they tell stories in anime is like something I haven't seen in a medium of entertainment. But yeah, enough of me yapping. If you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. This was a beautiful video. I'm giving him a like, and of course links are in the description for the full video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.